There we go. Okay. Good evening, Father and Together community. My name is Matt Kelly. I am one of the editors of Fathering Stories Volume 1. Today I am talking with Todd Smith, one of the contributors to the Fathering Stories book. This book is available through Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere else you get ebooks, and it's only $1.99. I knew you were going to be inspired by the stories that all these folks share. And Todd, we're really happy you're with us tonight. So welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So Todd, tell us a bit about yourself as we start.
Okay, I've been married for about 10 years. Our anniversary this past fall. And we have a 5-year-old son, Andrew. And like I said, he'll be starting kindergarten in the fall this year. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I do a blog called thatawaydad.com. It's like if like in Bugs Bunny, he went that away. So that's how we got that out. And originally it was a lot about traveling. That was the first thought. We not traveling as much with COVID, although we last spring in 2019, David did a sabbatical in Munich, Germany. So we spent spring traveling around Europe. I'm working on a book about that. That's my project to try to get done, hopefully by next spring. And I've written one book, a memoir, Murder, Romance, and 2 Shootings. And that's the first book. And then the next book will be about me and Drew. The first book is my life prior to having Andrew.
Okay.
True story.
Cool. Yeah. So where all did you guys live in Europe when y'all were doing that?
We lived in Munich, Germany, and then traveled to about I think 11 different countries. I mean, went to like Switzerland and Austria, Liechtenstein and Croatia and Hungary and Austria and Italy. Yeah.
Wow.
I think I got most of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I read. I spent some time reading your website. You guys did some really cool stuff. I'm officially envious, honestly, of the cool stuff you guys did. That's really awesome. Okay, so what led you to write the story that you shared in the book?
Well, me and David, we entered the pool. It took about 5 years to the adoption to work. We had some failed adoptions. We had, one mother that was scamming us. Another one said that the child passed, and then another mother changed her mind. So we just went through the gamut of, and after year 3, we were sort of deciding like maybe this isn't going to happen. So we thought, I have a bucket list of places I like to go. So we headed out to the Grand Canyon, like in March that year. First thing I did was my niece, she got pregnant and was having a baby, and I decided, you know what, we'll just give all our stuff away, all our diapers and everything, the baby crib and the stroller, and then, have a good time. And we went out to the Grand Canyon, checked it out, went hiking and all that. And when we got back, I think at some point we're going to get around to getting off the list, and then we get the call. So it's like, oh, okay. It was great. And that's, that was the most awesome thing ever. Like, it was so, I don't know, some people might say maybe we had to get out of the bad and have, out of that, some of the raw feelings, and, that we were ready to have the kid. I don't know. But we ended up having to buy everything new, which was fine. I mean, she needed the stuff, and she was a young girl. So, we did we aren't going to ask the stuff back. Like, we just went back to the baby store and everything.
That'd be bad form. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, gosh, what you're talking about is such a common tale among adoptive parents. Like, something maybe no, and it's I can't imagine the roller coaster for you, and the way you did in your story helped us kind of come into this place like, okay, here we're going. Oh, hey, all of it turns around all of us. really it brings us into your space, into your life, which I really appreciate because that's the idea, to really drop in to where us as fathers are. So, Todd, can you tell us both what is your favorite thing about being a father and what is the hardest thing about being a father?
My favorite thing is I love doing activities with him, like our traveling. I mean, it was an awesome thing to. Well, David was doing research and stuff in Germany, but I would plan out in the morning. I'd figure out the train schedules, and then we would be off to the Alps. I found like he got used to gondolas, which is a way to get up to the high mountains. Not a
Yeah,
lot of kids had that experience. He got
yeah,
really like two of them gondolas had like they have like wildlife parks at the top of the mountains, and then we went to another one and it was like, where's the wildlife park? Like it's just a different reality of what normal kids would expect, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, that was, I mean, that's it's really neat to see his experience and how he sees things,
Hmm.
and I've really enjoyed being able to do that with him. And under the coronavirus, we've done some hiking together, and that's been a nice thing. I turned into another, like, okay, we can't really go to stores and stuff, but we can at least go to a park, or and Southern
Yeah,
Missouri's got, some big hills. We'll go down hiking and check out the rock formations and stuff like that.
cool. What about the hardest part about being a dad?
Um, the hardest part was just at the, just getting used to, like, when he was a baby, like, it was work, it was like feeding him in the
Yep.
middle of the night and then getting the bottles ready and just,
Hmm.
changing all the diapers. And, when David would come home from work, I would be like, okay, I'm just as tired as you are because, it was a full time job taking the kids
Yes.
through the morning. You feed them a couple times and change some diapers. It was, long days, and I wouldn't take it back, and now I sort of miss it. But yeah, it was work.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what kind of research does David do?
Oh, he's a full-time professor at
Hmm.
St. Louis University and uh, business department, School of Business there.
Okay. Cool. All right. So, you are part of the Fathering Together community. All of us are as part of this book, Fathering Stories. So, as you have interacted with this rather massive Facebook community, what has been the biggest the biggest benefit for you for being part of this community?
Um, it's interesting, just to hear different stories about raising kids, and then along with any fathers, I actually belong to lots of fathers groups because they just get insight of disciplining your kids, and then sometimes, especially with adoption and whether you do surrogacy, non-surrogacy, or the different routes of adoption or foster care. Foster care has its own issues.
Yes.
It's been interesting to see what foster care is compared to adoption. Like, it's sadly enough, occasionally I've heard a story where a parent has lost a child because it went back to the original parent, their birth parent. I mean, it's just interesting, the gamut of the different ways kids come to parents.
Were you guys foster parents before you were adoptive?
No, no, we went into strict adoption pool.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think
I
maybe
asked,
someone older, it just didn't happen.
sure, sure. Yeah, no, I asked because my wife and I were foster for a number of years and never intending to adopt. And we encountered a situation where we had the option to, and ultimately decided not to. And that was such a emotional minefield and turned out to be an amazing thing. But it was, oh my gosh, it was a emotional roller coaster to say the least. And again, I know tons of adoptive parents and families that have gone through emotional roller coasters of their own. So I just I can only have like a small amount of appreciation or yeah, understanding of that. Uh, so I'm gonna go ahead and look through any um, questions or comments we're having on the pages. Uh, Is there anything else you want to say about the piece you wrote and what you shared?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to understand, some of the difficulties you sometimes have in adopting. I think sometimes people think like, oh, I'll get a kid within a couple of months, and that's that's far in between what normally doesn't happen. It just takes time, and it's, I
Right.
feel like it's worth the effort, even with some things that might go wrong. I think you should go into adopting with, eyes wide open of the possibilities of what could happen.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like good advice. Is there other advice you would have um, for folks that are considering adoption or in the process?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, when you have the baby, it's just like the. I mean, it's an amazing experience. Just having the little baby Drew is just like, oh, it's just like, still I go back. I sort of miss the times where you spend all the time feeding him and taking care of him, and just watching
Hmm.
him say his first words, or where he starts to crawl, and then when he starts to
Yeah.
walk. And then even now he'll surprise you with something he'll say or something like that, or you didn't even know he was listening when you were talking about something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff that drives you nuts in the moment, and yet you cherish it, and you will so miss it when it's gone. It's uh, it's the biggest emotional contradiction of all, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I want to go to sleep, I want this to be over, and yet, like, you will. Oh, I just always want this to be back there. I am not seeing any big questions. I think other a couple of folks saying hi. Glad you guys are with y'all. Shouldn't say guys. Y'all are with us uh, on the pages. Um, if folks that are watching this later have other questions or comments or anything, we'll pass them along. Uh, but let's all right. So, Todd, thank you for being with us tonight. We're really glad to have you. Could you share your website, social media handles, all those fun things?
Oh yeah, it's real simple. Thatawaydad.com, and then all my social handles on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and even TikTok are still Thataway Dad. So if you just Google Thataway Dad on, or check any Thataway Dad on social media, that's where I can be found.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again for your contribution to Fathering Stories Volume 1, for your presence in the Fathering Together community. We really appreciate that. Again, you can purchase Fathering Stories Volume 1 through Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, anywhere else you get ebooks. It's only $1.99. Father's Day is coming up in just a couple of days, and probably a lot of folks have forgotten to give gifts for their dad, and it's just really quick and easy to say, "Hey, Dad, check out your inbox. It's there." If you get the book, we would really love it if you would write a review so that other fathers can know about this collection of stories. And happy Father's Day to everybody. Todd, thanks again for being with us tonight, and we will talk to you again soon.
Thank
Have
you.
a good